Hey, I'm Jay, and I've got something real quick to say about painting. A little bit of my painting technique. I'm voicing over a video I took. So basically, spray paint everything in black, go over it in a dark wash to get all the nooks and crannies very, very well shaded. These washes, it's hard to, everything looks black, but they are tinted. So like that one was blue. This one was just a really thin black wash because it's going to be bone and stuff in black. You can see the zenithal showing through. This is just a really thin wash just to tint and shade the little recesses. This particular model, and here's the base coat, so you can see I did the wings in a dark brown, the underbelly in a dark brown, the top in a very, very dark red. Other than seeing that it's base coated and you can't see the zenithal through it, it almost looks as dark as the original, right? So you always want to start darker than you think and end lighter than you think to get the contrast up so that it reads from more than 2 inches away. So you can see how dark and similar all of these are. So I'm keeping a similar theme. I'm using the same brown as all the undercoats, even though they might highlight different at the very end. So all the bellies on Archon Studios Marduk, the Tyrant, so they're not Tiamat. And all the bone is kind of the same process, right? So the bone's a brown followed by an ochre followed by a off-white. So there you can start seeing some base color showing through. But what those previous like prep layers, you can see how much black is still in that white. So this is going to be my black dragon, but it's also like a skeletal and stuff. I did modify this a little bit. I swapped some heads. But you can see you want that dark in all those crevices so that you can read them. If you do a flat color, you're going to lose all that detail. The blend of the color is going to make those details go away. So here I'm just showing you how it kind of assembles. I've got blue tack. I had blue tack on there covering the paint so that the plastic was exposed. And here's my finished baddie. So this is just dry brush. After the base layer, it's just 2 layers of dry brush of various lightnesses. So it's pretty quick. A wash, a base layer, 2 dry brushes, and I'm to that point. But what I really want to do is push the contrast. You can see how much black is still in this model. I just kind of wanted to go through that kind of, this is basic, right? This isn't layering, this isn't glazing, this is base coat, wash, dry brush in a little different order. But basically layering is going to be similar. You're just going to dry brush more and more different colors on top of each other in smaller and smaller bits, so that there's more gradient to it. Now this is, this is a dark evil, you want all that darkness to it. So if you were doing like a townsfolk in the daylight and not at night, you wouldn't be pushing so much black into it. You'd do a base coat and a couple highlights and then wash at the end to pull out those details again, instead of trying to leave those details like really black. But the Archon dragons, I also have a Dracula's black dragon. There's a lot of deep details in this. It was really, this model really painted itself. There's just enough texture to it that it used a lot of paint for the base coat, but after that it painted itself. It really has enough texture that it just, dry brushing just works, because there's deep enough valleys and high enough peaks that it just picks up everything. And it was actually really easy to paint, despite looking like a very overwhelming model.